All you gotta do to eat keto is just not eat fucking carbs. How hard is that? Why we gotta make this shit so complicated? Alright, if it was that easy, we wouldn't have all of these fucking questions. On Facebook I'll put a link to it in the description because it's actually pretty useful because it's a good way of getting information, because you get brand new motherfuckers come in and ask questions. So in addition to, of course, my comments and the messages that you guys give me, I often go there to kind of just see what's what, because they got 200 and something thousand. It's called Keto for Beginners on Facebook. But between there and my channel and some of the other comment sections on other keto and fasting channels, I came up with a list of top 10 frequently asked questions on the ketogenic diet. And, these are not in any particular super order, but they pretty much the ones that stuck out to me first are like the first questions. So the first fucking question, and I hear this all the time. I see it on all the forums, all the places where you go for ketogenic information, and it's an important one, and one that I have addressed in past videos. It's, I have plateaued or weight loss is slow on the ketogenic diet. That's the number one question. I see that one probably the most, which is why I've made 2 videos now on it in the past. If you want me to further elaborate, in the description I'll put a link to my video on ketogenic diet not being a weight loss diet. And it's not. That's the answer to the question. Will you lose weight when you first start out on a ketogenic diet? Abso-fucking-lutely you will. Any diet that takes you off the standard American diet is going to have a weight loss result. My first 10 pounds of weight loss came just by cutting back sugary drinks and removing them from the equation. So you will lose weight on keto, but you might not get to your goal weight. And you might stall far shy of your goal weight on a ketogenic diet. And the reason I've said it in the video, and I'll say it again in this question, is it's not a weight loss diet. It normalizes your hormones. Your body takes care of energy balance. You aren't going to need to worry about what you eat and how much anymore on a ketogenic diet, because once the weight loss is done, and it is a slow process, by the way, it's not going to be a quick weight loss. It could take a year, maybe 2, to get anywhere near your goal if you're just doing keto. If you want to lose weight, if that is your sole purpose for keto, you're going to be disappointed, I think, because people who want to do that tend to want to do it quick. They want to do it easy, or they're counting calories. There's another issue that I see a lot of on a ketogenic diet. People counting their calories. Calories don't fucking matter in a ketogenic diet. You don't understand. If you overeat on a ketogenic diet, you actually ramp up your metabolism. If you undereat, as in you're in that 500 calorie deficit, you ramp down your metabolism. Your body is trying to be in homeostasis. So if you've plateaued, or you might even gain a pound or two here and there, but that's a normal fluctuation. Don't panic when you gain a couple pounds here and there, because it'll fall back off a week later. It's a pattern. You can expect to lose 1 to 2 pounds a week at first, and eventually it's going to level off as your hormones normalize, as your body says, okay, we're good. And that level is different for everybody. It depends on how long you've been fucked up. Depends on how bad your metabolism is to begin with. It can take a long time to fix metabolic rate. And it can happen. Another issue that you could be running into is you're working out all the fucking time. You're picking shit up, putting shit down, picking shit up, putting shit down. Well, guess what? You're going to be putting on muscle. So the scale is only part of the equation there. You should be measuring. I've seen weight creep up on myself while maintaining or losing inches around the belly. And that's the most important marker for me, is the belly, because I don't have any body fat anywhere else. It's the belly area. So that is the target area whenever I do a fast or whenever I'm trying to lose weight. So if you want weight loss, then it goes without saying intermittent fasting with keto. A lot of people find a lot of success with 1 meal a day. A lot of people find success with long fasts. Whatever fasting you do, if you're plateaued and you're finding 1 meal a day isn't cutting it, that's when you start thinking about doing every other day or ADF. I personally do alternate day fasting with a 36-hour, and it's fat fasting. I have heavy cream in my coffee on my fast days. And I have probably about 600-700 calories of heavy cream on my fast days, and I still show weight loss and progress when I do that. Right now, ADF is maintenance for me. I do not lose weight on ADF anymore. I eat, and I get a little hungrier on my eat days because of the energy balance. And that's why I'm not losing weight on ADF. I'm not trying to lose weight on ADF. I want ADF to be my maintenance protocol. I like eating every other day. It's cheap, it's simple. Don't have to worry about food. I can be productive every other day. That's where I'm at. If I wanted to nudge the weight down a little more, I would do a 4 or 5 day fat fast at this point. I do plan on doing a few more fasts, longer fasts, to try and move the needle. But there is a needle. There is a point that your body will stay and maintain. And if you drive your weight down, it's going to make you hungrier, so you gain it back. If you overeat, it's going to make you lose weight. It's going to ramp up the metabolism. There is a set point. The goal, obviously, for a lot of us is to lower that set point. And I can tell you that the longer you've been fucked up, the slower that process is going to be. But I get reports that people reach their goal. I'm still a little bit 7 pounds shy of where I would like to be weight-wise, but I also am well within my measurement goal, which was under 36 inches around my belly. I have 35.25 inches this morning. I actually lost a 1/4 inch. My weight has been stable in the low 190s, 191 to 194, in that range. Sometimes I don't shit for a while and I jump up to 196. I don't panic though, because that tape measure is what I'm worried about. I'm not worried about if I were to pick up some fat in my arms or in my face or in my stomach or in my ass or my legs. I could probably use a little body fat in those areas because they're a little skinny on me. But the belly, that's my big marker. If that starts creeping up, if I start getting the bigger belly, then I know that I'm regaining weight. because muscle weighs more than fat. That's, a fact. And if you build muscle, if you're doing any physical activity or exercising, you're not counting calories and you're eating keto, you're going to gain muscle, because when you exercise, it makes you hungrier. It makes you want to eat a little more than you otherwise would. You won't get full as quickly. You might not get hungry as often. I've seen that and I've experienced that. But when you sit down to eat, you eat a little bit more than if you don't do shit physically. And that's normal. That's what the body is designed to do. So I've dwelled on that question. If you want more information, go ahead and check out my, Ketogenic Diet is not a weight loss diet video down below. 2, this question I get asked a lot. A lot of brand new motherfuckers ask this question. What do you eat during a day? I'm a very simple creature when it comes to this. I am a creature of habit. I eat the same foods quite often. For me, like, the average day involves eggs usually. First meal on my eat days. I do eat more than once on my feed days to make sure that I feed myself appropriately, but I only do it when I'm hungry. When I get hungry, I eat. And I have generally 2 meals on my feed days. And once I start the eating process, I generally am ready to eat again in about 6 to 8 hours after that meal. So I eat, and I eat till I'm full, till I'm satisfied, till I'm happy, and then I call it. Some would argue I could even be overeating on my feast days, but that's what my body's telling me to do. That's what my brain's telling me to do. I listen to my body. So I eat eggs with some kind of meat with it, usually either bacon or sausage. And then I finish with some Greek yogurt, because I'm like this person that has a little bit of a sweet tooth. And so I sweeten my full-fat Greek yogurt with stevia erythritol. Sometimes I'll put Lily's dark chocolate chips in it, which is no sugar. It's stevia erythritol sweetened chocolate, essentially. The problem I have with those is there's some soy, so I'm not happy. I wish they would have went with a more pure dark chocolate. But sometimes I'll melt when I'm feeling, frisky. I'll melt 100% cacao chocolate, sweeten it myself with stevia erythritol, and mix that into the yogurt, and it solidifies instantly. And then I throw it in the freezer for maybe a minute, 2 minutes, and take it out, and the chocolate's all hardened, and it's really kind of a nice little desserty thing that I do. Vegetables I've cut back on. I consider myself ketovore, as in most of what I eat is in the carnivore spectrum. Where I step out of the carnivore spectrum is I occasionally have Veronica's Health Crunch still. It's one of my desserts. I don't do that every day. It's probably maybe once a week I'll get a bag of that and have at it. And occasionally I'll have Halo Top, and that's maybe once a week I'll try and do that. Sometimes twice a week, but never the full pint. It's like I have maybe a quarter of it. So, and there's a little bit of sugar in there, and there's also a little bit of sugar in the form of honey in the Veronica's Health Crunch. So I do get a little bit of sugar in my life still. But for the most part, that's pretty basic. Steaks, and I try and go organic. And the reason I try and go organic is because I like rare. Because I do believe you preserve more vitamin C in the meat when it's rare. I like the fattier cuts, ribeyes, that kind of stuff. Prime rib is the fattiest cut of meat that I try to eat. I don't eat that every day. It's a little pricey, but, when I'm looking to be cheap, I'll eat the fucking 80% organic ground beef. That's pretty much the average red meat that I eat. Occasionally I'll do seafood or tuna, something of that, but I don't do that all of the time, mainly because of issues with mercury and that kind of shit. And the reason I don't eat vegetables all the time is the glyphosate issue. I do not want to fuck my gut up. And I am prone to allergies and autoimmune diseases, and I found that the less green vegetables and all of that, the better. I also keep it down because of the mood thing. I know that when I did the carnivore experiment, my mood plateaued, leveled out. When I do normal keto, I get the peaks and valleys. They're all manageable. There's no severe mental problems like I used to have, but for the most part, it's very manageable, way better than the standard American diet as far as my mood disorders go. The depressions aren't soul crushing. The ups aren't as high, but you know, you can't have one without the other, I guess, for me. So it's a very basic diet. I like it simple. Now, I understand there are those of you, and I've addressed this with people I've helped with the diet, that don't like giving up some of the standard American foods. And for you, you're going to need to learn to bake and cook, or be really, really nice to somebody, or even pay somebody to bake and cook for you, because there's tons of keto dessert replacements, there's tons of keto bread replacements, there's keto pasta replacements. I'm not into that. Every once in a while, I'll have one of those keto franken dessert like substances, like a cheesecake or a pumpkin pie, or, you know, but those are rare, maybe once every couple months or every special occasion. Sometimes I have keto cake. And, you know, but those are junk foods. You can be unhealthy on a ketogenic diet. Also, try to minimize eating out. You know, I eat out maybe once a week max. And lately I haven't eaten out in a couple weeks. And that saves a lot of money. Obviously, I'm on a budget, being minimalist and shit. And, it saves a lot of money. It saves the getting the carbs snuck to you. If you eat out a lot, another thing, this could go back to the plateau question. If you eat out a lot, you might be getting hidden carbs. Restaurants like to put sugar in their shit. You know, I can't tell you how many times I've gone to a restaurant, ordered hot wings, and found that they were sticky and felt like shit afterwards because there was sugar in them. Too much sugar in them. You can tolerate a little bit of sugar in the ketogenic diet. Like, I would say under 6 grams, but I'm getting ahead of myself. That's a whole other question. So that's about, on average, what I eat. How much fat should you eat? Question number 3. And you should not set out to hit a certain amount of fat. Just make sure that with every meal, you're having fat. When I have that meat, it's cooked in grass-fed butter. When I drink my coffee, it has heavy cream in it. On the occasions when I eat salads, I pour butter on them, or a very decently well-known dressing that doesn't have sugar added to it, and you got to be very careful there. But I'm not a big fan of dressing anymore because I try to avoid vegetable oils. Now, what fats you eat are important. You want healthy fats. You know, animal-sourced fat is fine. Coconut oil is fine. And olive oil is benign, pretty much. But canola oil and those oils that are in a lot of processed foods, they're to be avoided. And unfortunately, a lot of, when you're eating out, even chicken wings are fried in those oils, and that's why you shouldn't eat out a lot, because the food environment in most restaurants isn't still, at best, it's dirty keto. And dirty keto. What's dirty keto? Dirty keto is when you eat out all the time and you're like, go to McDonald's, take the bun off the burger. You eat processed keto foods because they meet the macros, but there's still a lot of unhealthy shit mixed in with them, including wheat and grain in some of those keto products that may meet the macros, but they're still not healthy for you. They still might be causing you issues or damage. Yeah, that question wasn't part of the fucking list. The other question we get is, how much protein is too much protein? I have found after doing the carnivore experiment that protein doesn't really change or ramp up gluconeogenesis. That's the process where your liver turns amino acids and glycerol into glucose for your glycogen and blood. You generally on a ketogenic diet, you do keep glycogen, just not as much as you would if you were a carb burner. So, you're not going to do heavy burst exercise very efficiently, as far as if you're doing high intensity shit over a long period of time, it's going to eat away at your lean mass some. But if you're doing endurance type stuff, you are fat fueled. You don't hit a wall. And I've heard that I got a friend that's a runner that is now fat adapted and loves not hitting the wall, not having to gel or do any of that shit. So you still use glucose on a ketogenic diet. It's a matter of, gluconeogenesis is always running. Even when you're a carb burner, you're still performing gluconeogenesis. It does not ramp up when you overconsume protein. Now, there are other concerns. If you're eating protein and not a lot of fat, you could run into that whole rabbit starvation type thing. Generally, you're going to be full long before you overeat protein. Let your body tell you. Don't intentionally overeat protein. That's the big rule. Should you be counting it? I honestly don't. I haven't for a long time. I don't track my macros. I know if I undereat fat, my body fat fills in the gap. I don't think I undereat fat because of the heavy cream in my coffee all the time. But you just gotta be smart with it. A lot of people make this diet much more tedious and restrictive than it has to be. And, eat a steak, eat some wings. I eat 10 chicken wings. I used to be able to eat 25 chicken wings in one fucking sitting. 10 chicken wings right now makes me disgustingly full. 1 pound of meat, in a meal makes me disgustingly full. And that's not overeating. That's eating till your body says stop. That's what you have to master. At first, it's not easy. When you first go keto, you are not going to be the master of not being overeating, especially if you were a food addict or any of those issues. The key is to get unaddicted, to remove the cravings, and that does happen. And it happens over the course of the 6 weeks. So that's why your first 6 weeks, no cheats, fat adapt. Whenever you're craving something, eat keto. If you're craving a piece of cake, go out and eat something that's keto. If you're craving anything, go out and eat something that eats keto. Pretty soon your body's going to be like, okay, we're not getting that shit anymore. The gut bacteria that might be telling your brain, hey, that we should be getting that's probably going to die off and not cause an issue. And then you won't crave the shit anymore. Turns out there's a little bit of a gut health link to the foods that you crave. And that's not all on your brain. We can get into that in another fucking video. Can I have sugar? Question number 5. I follow a very general rule when it comes to this. 5 to 6 grams per serving max. And never more than 2 servings of that in a sitting, and you will be just fine. You can get away with whatever your carb number is if you're counting carbs and that kind of stuff. I've had a Pop-Tart and remained in ketosis back long ago when I still did that shit. When I had lots of cheat days and carb cycling and all of that. But I did it as an experiment. I was like, if I'm not having a cheat day, but what if all my carbs for the day was just the one Pop-Tart, even though it has like 36 grams of carbs or some shit like that with sugar, most of those. And obviously, wheat and grain being the other part. Would I do that today? Absolutely fucking not. But there's a whole host of reasons why you don't want to overload on sugar, not the least of which is your liver's capacity, and the liver is the only organ that metabolizes fructose, and sugar is half fructose, half glucose. And if you overwhelm your liver, you create liver fat. And when you create that liver fat, fatty liver, you increase your insulin resistance. That fat can also end up in your arteries. It can end up in your pancreas, inhibiting your production of insulin or causing damage to your beta cells. So if you are constantly overloading your liver, alcohol does this too, then you are pretty much pulling the rug out from underneath all your health benefits. Even though you may be in ketosis a lot of the time, in the short term, you're still going to overwhelm your liver. So sugar should be avoided as much as possible. Do you need to be at 0? No. As long as you're in your carb tolerance, which is different. Mine's 50 grams of carbs per day. As long as you don't overdo it in one shot, and that doesn't mean have 50 grams of carbs in one meal. Generally the rule I follow is 6 grams max per serving. Turns out Halo Top falls into that realm. Turns out my Veronica's Health Crunch falls into that realm. Those are the only 2 sugary things that I have. And a lot of people find those aren't sweet, that are sugar lovers. But it took a while for me to get over my sweet tooth. Now if I were to have a dessert, it would be just insanely sweet. Like not even palatable almost. And it goes without saying, can I have fruit? Yes and no. There are some very sugary fruits. You could get away with a banana, but then you might be overloading on fructose. Bananas aren't very fibrous. You can't have grapes. You can't have raisins. You can't, those are sacks of sugar. There's hardly any fiber and a whole lot of sugar. Berries. Blueberries, raspberries, blackberries, strawberries. Pretty much stick to the berries. You'll get your vitamin C if you're worried about that shit. I don't worry about that because I know there is vitamin C in meat, especially when you undercook it a bit. And that's pretty much my source. Organ meats are more dense with that, obviously liver and that kind of stuff. But I've found a little bit of evidence that you don't get scurvy if you are a carnivore. So that tells me that your requirement is based on a high carb diet. If you're eating a high carb diet, like the standard American diet, you need more vitamin C than someone who's keeping their carbs way low. But yes, and that could be part of one of your desserts. One of my desserts is Veronica's Health Crunch. One of my desserts is occasional Halo Top, and occasionally I'll have some blueberries, some strawberry. I don't do that very often. Once again, worrying about the glyphosate issue, but that's just me. If you want like a handful of berries, throw that in your fucking Greek yogurt and you got a nice dessert that way. It's not a problem, just as long as you don't overdo it. Don't eat like a pound of blueberries or a pound of strawberries or any of that shit. A single serving. And if that's not enough to sate you, mix it with something that'll get you there. Full fat Greek yogurt for me is heavy in protein, a decent amount of fat. So it is very satiating, and in using some berries to sweeten that up a bit, it's a no-brainer. It gets you there. You get some of the sweetness of the fruit, and you get the satiety of the protein and fat. So you're not going to be satisfied just having a single serving of blueberries or a single serving of strawberries. You could probably even get away with 2 servings in one sitting. Those are low glycemic fruits, and that's what you want to stick to. High fiber fruits, low glycemic. So when you're looking at fruit, you can have the low glycemic fruit, but you might want to avoid the high glycemic fruit for the reasons that I've told you before. Is that, the less fiber, the more you could overwhelm your liver with fructose. and create fat, which is what a lot of people don't want to do on this diet. So if you're plateauing or you're gaining weight and you're finding fruit as a part of the equation, maybe take the fruit out of the equation and see what happens. Number 7, should I have a fucking cheat day? Now, I've gone over this repeatedly, but generally keep it no more than once every 3 weeks. Once you're fat adapted. During the first 6 weeks, no fucking cheating. Keep your grams down. Get that fat adaptation under your belt. Get rid of that sweet tooth. Get rid of that. And then the composition of your cheat day becomes important. Your concept of a cheat day you might be thinking, oh, I'm going to go to Pizza Hut. It's going to be a big fucking large pizza and then eat a big fucking pound of cake afterwards and then fucking pound of soda with it. That's not what I'm talking about when I talk about cheat days. So in terms, if that's your idea of a cheat day, no, you can't have a fucking cheat day. That's horrible. You will undo so much progress if you do that. You will take a step back in the insulin resistance department. You will create liver fat. You will create the bad fat in your arteries. You will do damage during that cheat day that will take weeks, 3 to 4 weeks to undo. Do not do that kind of cheat day. When I'm talking about a cheat day, I'm talking about once every fucking 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks, you can have carbs. And by carbs, I mean starchy carbs. Or you can have that more sugary piece of fruit, like a banana. Or, if you must, a small smidgen of a piece of cake or a cookie or something. A cookie. Avoid that shit if you can, though. But for me, if I do a cheat day, it usually involves bread, or maybe a slice of pizza. A slice of pizza, not the whole fucking pizza. Maybe some pasta, maybe some potatoes. I try and do the resistant starch thing if it's going to be a pasta cheat day where you cool it and then reheat it. It's a theory that's floating around out there that you don't digest it, and it's like fiber at that point. And that's a meal. A cheat meal, not a whole day of gorging yourself with every fucking food that you've been forbidden for fucking the past. No, that's not. If you're doing that, you're going to undo. Because this is a slow, you gradually lose weight. You gradually make health progress on this diet. And you will undo it like that if you have a day of fucking debauchery where you just binge on standard American diet. So that's the general rule I follow for fucking cheat days. Can I drink diet soda or diet drinks like G2 or whatever the fucking the Gatorade shit is? I would say you should not. And the reason you should not is it fucks with your appetite. As far as ketosis, not going to move the needle. You will remain in ketosis despite drinking aspartame-fueled fucking drinks, which is what most diet sodas are. And you will maintain it with a lot of the artificial sweeteners. However, some of them are mixed with dextrose, so that can fuck you up a little, which is essentially glucose. Some of them are not healthy for you and cause dysregulated appetite, as in you will be hungrier. Your body will be telling you to eat when it otherwise would not. If you're drinking diet drinks, that is probably going to happen. And so if you're having that plateau issue, one of the things you might want to look at is, am I drinking diet soda? Am I drinking diet Gatorade? Am I drinking all of these fucking shitty sweeteners? The only sweetener that I found that does not do this is stevia mixed with erythritol. Erythritol passes through undigested through your body. It doesn't count towards your carb total. It can be subtracted like fiber from the ingredients, the carb total of everything for your net grams of carbs. And stevia is non-caloric. and doesn't seem to cause me any appetite issues. And I've been doing it a long time. Stevia erythritol. That's been on my sweetener of choice for about 2 years now, and with no problems. I can tell you when I did regular Splenda, the Splenda Naturals is stevia erythritol with no other ingredients. Regular Splenda is sucralose, which does increase hunger, and I have found that. Occasionally, if I have to bite the bullet and have something with sucralose in it, I'll have it, but that is definitely not a regular thing. I do find it is transient as far as it's temporary, that you when you have sucralose, the appetite increases probably the next meal or two and then goes away. But that's the big thing. If you're drinking those drinks, you are going to lean more on the I'm going to overeat side of the house when it comes to keto. Your metabolism still ramps up, but you will not be losing weight when you're on the high side. And if you're plateaued and diet sodas are a thing, try cutting them out for 6 weeks and see what happens. I drink water and coffee. Those are my drinks. Water, coffee. Occasionally I'll have Captain Morgan at the bar straight. That is not healthy and should not be done. And that leads to another question, which almost made the list. It was number 11. Can you drink alcohol? Yes, you can, but it's the same as the sugar. You're setting yourself back if you overload your liver. And 2 or 3 drinks, probably max, in one sitting, and no more than once a week. If you were going to do that. And, but once again, if you can get away with not doing that, some of us struggle with that, others don't. The fact of it is you shouldn't be doing that either. Not healthy. And it's probably the only unhealthy thing I still really do in terms of keto is I have a 3-drink limit. I try not to go over it. But I don't do it every day. It's like once a week when I'm being social. I don't have any drinking when I'm not being social. Turns out I don't even get to do that every weekend because some weekends I have client work and I'm really busy and I can't go out and be social. Should I count calories? Number fucking 9. And I hate it when I see this. This triggers me so much. And a lot of you I know do this. I gave it up. I haven't counted calories in 2 years. And whenever I wanted to lose weight, I was able to without even fucking breaking out MyFitnessPal. The weight loss, if you're looking to do it, fasting is the way to go. And I'm not talking long fasts. I'm talking maybe 48 hours here and there. Maybe 36s here and there. A couple times a week. To start out. If that doesn't work, then maybe do a 5-day fat fast. You won't drop your metabolism that much during a 5-day fat fast. That's where you have some fat. Bulletproof coffee or fucking heavy cream in your coffee. That's about all I do. Maybe 100% cacao chocolate. A single serving for dinner on the fast days. Something like that. And you'll find that you'll get the same weight loss as a water fast, pretty much, with a lot less hunger and without the I'm getting cold, having the metabolic drop and the subsequent heavy weight regain. You might go back up to your set point, but you won't go over that, if you do that, the long fast. But if you're early on in your journey, that's probably going to lower your set point. And if you're later in your journey, you will, and you do this persistently, you do these fasts periodically, followed by double the fasting time in terms of refeed, generally is the thing for long fasts. For, shorter, under 72-hour fasts, you can just sprinkle those in wherever. You're not going... Research has shown your metabolism ramps up during the first 72 hours and then drops. So around day 4 or 5 of a fast is when you start to get metabolic drop. So if you don't exceed, the 72-hour mark, you're pretty much good to go in terms of metabolism. But that is where you get your caloric deficit. And the reason you want to do fasting is because it changes the way your body is responding. You go into autophagy. Your ketone levels will rise. You will burn off any excess glycogen you have. And your glycogen storage dictates your ketone production. It's an inverse relationship. So if you have a lot of glycogen on board, as in maybe you've been getting hidden carbs here and there and it's been slowly ticking up, because your body's still going to work to preserve even if it's not full. But if you're in that realm where you're testing your blood and your ketones and you see that your ketones are kind of low, as in you're not doing a lot of ketosis and your blood sugar's ticking up a bit, you might want to look at doing a fast to deplete that glycogen. It takes 72 hours for muscle glycogen to deplete on a fast. It takes 24 hours for liver glycogen to deplete on a fast. And the more depleted your liver is, that's the important one. Muscle's not quite as important as far as glycogen depletion for keto. But the liver, when the liver's depleted, that is what ramps up ketosis. And that's how you start using your body fat. So should you count calories? No, you do not want to calorie restrict on a ketogenic diet. The diet is not designed to be done as a low-calorie diet. It is to correct the health issues that caused you to get fat in the first place. And it is to bring in all the whole foods. It fixes the root cause of your obesity. And at first causes weight loss in response to that. Now, you can be still overweight on a ketogenic diet, but you're probably perfectly metabolically healthy, as in you're not going to get diabetes, you're not going to get heart disease, you're reduced risk for cancer. These are all benefits that you get without looking necessarily like you pound the fuckmaster all the time, or that you can fit in that extra dress size, or that, your abs are poking out, and that you want to be able to take your shirt off and watch everybody get wet at the sight of you. No, it's not what it's about. It's about health. And that should be your goal. And guess what? I'm finding the longer you remain healthy, the longer you remain keto, the more your weight normalizes, the more fat you lose, and the more muscle you gain. That's the other reason you don't want to count calories. You will recomp your body, especially if you're exercising. If you're exercising and counting calories and eating in a 500-calorie deficit on top of exercising, you are going to fuck your metabolism. You are going to plateau and maybe even gain weight, depending on how long and how severe your caloric restriction is. Because when you're not really making up for that fucking workout, and you can only guesstimate how many calories you burned during that workout, MyFitnessPal isn't going to give you an accurate representation of that, because your body can change how efficiently it burns energy while you're working out. Not to mention that MyFitnessPal isn't taking into account fat metabolism during that workout. Fat metabolism is way more efficient than glucose metabolism. So you might not be burning as many calories. I believe you produce more ATP from ketones than you do from glucose, which means you're not burning as many calories necessarily. And plus calorie counting, you can have a 300 calorie fucking mistake easily. The other issue is your body can ramp up or down regulate. There's 1,000 calorie window there. You could go up 500, down 500. At least that's what the data shows. It could be more. Maybe we don't fucking know. Not everybody's getting put in fucking chambers and having their exact calories fucking measured. But there is a metabolic window. And if you're counting calories on MyFitnessPal has no fucking idea whether you're up here or you're down here and shit. So I can't stress enough, you're wasting your time on a ketogenic diet counting calories. If you want to be in a deficit, it should be done through fasting. And guess what? You don't have to count calories. You just got to look at your watch. How long have I been not fucking eating for? That's as simple as it is. 24-hour fast, 16 and 8 for you very active motherfuckers, 36s for people that are struggling a bit, 72 hours for those that are looking to get a little nudge, 4 or 5 day fasts for the more advanced fasters out there that are looking to move the needle even more, that maybe have been in a plateau for a while. 10-day fast for those that are in a fucking hurry that are masters of fasting. 30-day fasts for those who are just fucking a little crazy about it. Those are the options. Not eating in a caloric deficit the entire time. You want to know what happens when you're in a caloric deficit long term? Just read the Minnesota starvation experiment. They pretty much went insane. Their metabolisms tanked. And they were eating in a caloric deficit. They weren't starving in the sense of fasting all the time. They were starving in that they were in a fucking 500 to 800 calories a day, every day. So they were eating. They were not fasting. And there is a metabolic difference in how your body responds to a very low calorie diet, as in it's hungry all the time, it's starving all the time, it's miserable, and it overeats whenever it can, or fasting where it says, okay, there's no food, we need to use our own shit. If you're taking in food, your body's not going to use its own shit. It's not going to like using its own shit. It's going to make you hungry because it thinks there's food available because you just had some food. This is kind of a really dumbed down, non-scientific explanation of the situation. If you're fasting, your body has accepted the fact that there's no fucking food. And that if it doesn't do something, it's going to fucking die. So it turns on all kinds of genes. It fucking makes you fucking use your body fat for energy. It does all of these things. Turns on autophagy, breaks down your damaged cells. You get shit from that. It starts leaching minerals from your bones. It does, it basically gets everything it needs from your storage of these things. Don't panic about the bone thing. Bones regenerate very quickly. But that is why you don't need supplementation during long fasts. You're not going to outfast your bones. You'll drop dead long before that, depending on your body fat levels. But even the guy that did the 382-day fast did not deplete his minerals in his bones. They checked. And question number 10. Can I do this diet if I don't cook, or AKA I'm with people that are not on the diet? First of all, yes, you can. I hear that excuse a lot. I can't cook, so I can't do the diet. I'm a truck driver. Well, I was a truck driver. I'm retired from trucking now. But I've done this diet while on the road, where you have to eat out. Is it fun? No. Is it the healthiest? No. You're dirty keto when you're doing this. But it still gets the job done. And I did a lot of my weight loss journey while out there. So the I can't cook thing is not going to fly with me. Especially if you have access to a Walmart or a grocery store where you can go in and get some fresh foods that you know what's in those foods. That's the biggest minefield right now for us ketos, is when you eat out. You are vulnerable to hidden carbs when you eat out. I take several precautions. I'm going to do a separate video on that, on what to do when you're eating out. But just don't eat out that much. Treat it like it's a cheat day. Almost. Not the same as the cheat days I'm talking about, but if you're going to eat out, no more than once a week, I would say. If possible. But if you have to eat out, you have no choice. You can't cook, you don't have time to cook, blah, blah, blah. There's all kinds of reasons. It's still possible to do the diet. Even if you went to McDonald's and got the double quarter pounder with cheese with no bun. Are you healthy? No. Are you going to die? No. Are you going to get weight loss results? Yes. Are you still going to get ketosis? Yes. So it can be done. But every time you can avoid eating out, you should. Even if you don't cook, you can still go into a supermarket and have a keto meal that doesn't require much, if any, cooking, maybe a microwave at best. And, it can be done. I've done it. Eating foods that don't require cooking. There's plenty of keto foods, cheeses, meats, pepperoni, that kind of stuff, nuts. It is possible to eat to satiety without cooking. I've done this. As far as your spouse or family isn't keto, you just need to have a strong will and eat keto. Serve them keto. Be like, you don't want fucking keto? Then you cook your shit. I ain't cooking your shit. That's what you need to do. Always be keto. And you'll be surprised that they might see your results and come on board and start eating healthier with you. But that's the solution. If you are involved in the food prep, make keto. If your spouse is doing the food prep, then tell them to make you keto or you're not going to eat it. After a couple of meals of them cooking and you not eating it or buying shit that you're not eating, they'll figure out that, hey, he's pretty set on this or she's pretty set on this. That, and they'll get over it. They're going to be bitching. They're probably going to talk shit. They're going to probably judge. Just stick to your guns. That's the willpower part. The willpower is not giving in to any pressure that they may put on you to not eat the way you want to eat. And it's weird that keto gets this pressure more so than the vegan diet does. People are much more tolerant of veganism than keto still. That's changing. Perspective is changing. Keto is out there. Keto might be approaching the popularity of the vegan diet at some point if we can ever get the fucking government and media on board. But till that happens, we're still kind of on the outs as far as social acceptance. It is improving, though. I am seeing a lot more people in my social life that are very accepting. It might just because it's me and, I run this channel and do all of that and they're aware of that. And so keto might be the thing there. So there's a confounding variable in that. But I am finding that people that don't know me in public also are either keto, trying keto, have heard of keto and heard all good things, and are no longer, a thing. Obviously all my friends know I do this channel, so they're going to be, okay, yeah, keto's good. Even if they don't believe it, they might be like, hey, yeah, that's it's working for you and shit. So that's the top 10 questions. I think I squeezed 12 questions out of that, or 13, I don't know. But anyways, by all means, that's not all the questions on the ketogenic diet. There's plenty. I try and address them here and there in the comments. Go ahead and leave a comment below. Another thing I'm thinking of doing is, because I'm starting to get questions outside the realm of, diet, maybe more lifestyle-ish questions. I'm thinking of doing like an Ask Scott the Truck Driver type thing where I take a question, do a video on it, kind of like Ask Hodge Twins did, that kind of stuff. If you guys are interested in that, I'd like to hear, if you stuck in the video this long, in the comments below, and give me a question, and I'll pick one that jumps out at me. If some people want to hear my opinion on other shit, I don't know why. I don't, I'm kind of hard-headed and weird and definitely not a fucking expert on shit. But you might want to hear my take on a situation or on a relationship question or, lifestyle question or, and I'm looking to start doing Ask Scott the Truck Driver videos if you guys want it. So tell me in the comments below if that's something that you think I should do. And if so, give me a question and I'll pick one and we'll start this shit rolling. Now, these videos will hopefully be shorter than these lectures usually are. But I want, if that's something you want. I'm just know that I've been getting unrelated questions. Sometimes it's trucking questions. Sometimes it's what should I do in this situation questions. If that's something you guys are interested in me doing, I'm willing to give my opinion on other shit. Sometimes I do that just because shit triggers me, but you never know. Maybe there's something that I should hear about that maybe I have an opinion on that could help people. Or it could just be way off. You could be telling me I'm full of shit with whatever my opinion is. There's that too. That's entertaining either way, isn't it? But even with that, remember, I'm not a fucking expert. I'm just a fucking asshole. Please like and subscribe for more shit. And I'll make all kinds of shit. As much shit as you want. If you found this video enlightening, entertaining, or you want me to do more of this and less of other shit, go to ScottTheTruckDriver.com. There's a virtual tip jar. The link is in the description. Check out my blog there. I post all my videos there as well, and along with links or inset videos or whatever the hell is pertinent. Plus my affiliate Amazon links are there if you want to help the channel that way. But go to ScottTheTruckDriver.com. Leave a tip in the virtual tip jar, and we'll keep this train rolling. You can also go to Patreon and become a patron. I am endorsing that again. It's just to support the channel. I'm not doing tiers or any of that shit. But some people are more comfortable with that way of supporting the channel. The link to my Patreon is also in the description, or you can go old school. There's at the end of every video is a mailing address that you can mail shit to. You can also mail stuff to that maybe you want me to try or comment on or give an opinion on. There has been a few books and stuff sent to me over time. There's been, some sample keto foods that, from Amazon. I don't want anything like wrapped suspiciously in the Ziploc bag or anything. But, or I won't eat it if that's the case. But if it's a drop ship from Amazon or something of that nature, or of a keto product you want me to give my thoughts on, as long as I don't get overwhelmed, I'll do the best I can to make that happen. I know as the channel grows that could blow up in my face, just putting that option there. But those are ways that you can contribute. But another way that you can contribute is just to watch my shit, put up with the ads, or get YouTube Premium, I guess is the new thing now that apparently helps and you don't have to watch ads. And just enjoy my channel. Click the bell. Click the subscribe button. These all help. Also, engagement in the comments. Talk to people. Don't just talk to me. Put comments down there on other people's shit. Talk to each other. Because I'm not an expert. I have a whole fucking bunch of assholes that aren't experts. We're all assholes. We're all not experts. But we all have our N=1 data to share. And although we may not agree on every nuance of this shit, the shared collective knowledge that we are pretty much relying on in lieu of expert stupidity and, the failings of our government in academic areas in terms of nutrition and health, we're doing this as a community here, and you should interact with each other as well. Because a lot of you ask questions that others of you have the answers to that I sometimes can't get to in the comments. So if you see a question in the comments and you know the answer to that question, help each other out. Let's keep this community thing fucking going, and that helps the channel as well. So, enough of that call to action shit. This video ran a little long, so I'm not going to do an email of the day. However, I did receive a couple emails that are on my list to do in videos further down the line. Only a couple videos this week. I know. I'm trying. I might do something over the weekend, but I have 3 clients this weekend. 2 photo and 1 video. So it's going to be a pretty busy weekend, and also the editing I'm going to have to do Monday. So I'll do the best I can with what I can. You know, I don't turn down client work. I just can't. I'm not in a financial position to say no in lieu of YouTube at this point. If YouTube keeps growing and you guys keep supporting, then eventually I can tell clients, no, I can't. I got to do this. This is my full-time 100% income here, and I have to do this. I'm not there yet with this channel. But it's looking like we're slowly on our way, and I want to keep that train rolling. So, but I am going to try, if I get some spare time over the weekend, because a lot of the shit I'm shooting is late at night or late afternoon. I'll try and squeeze out another video over the weekend. It's on my list of shit to do. There's a couple things going on in the minimalism department and the car camping department that I want to do a video on. But we'll get to that when we get to that. Have a nice motherfucking day. And shit. I have nothing else to add. I don't know why everyone expects me to just add shit at the end of this fucking shit. Fucking